Hello and welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping right into an absolutely incredible story out of Tokyo.
Yeah, Tokyo. What a backdrop for the World Athletics Championships.
Exactly. Think about that atmosphere. Late summer, that humid Tokyo air, thick with excitement. And usually, the championships are about sprints, jumps, throws.
Pure power, explosive speed.
Right. But this time, the big story, the one that had everyone talking, came from, well, the marathon.
Which is usually the opposite end of the spectrum, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
all about grinding it out, endurance.
Totally. So we saw something really unprecedented, a marathon finish that played out like a 100-meter dash. Just heart-stopping.
It really makes you rethink the whole event.
Yeah.
A marathon. It's 42.195 kilometers. That's what, like 26.2 miles?
Mm-hmm.
It's hours of just pushing through pain, fighting fatigue. You picture runners staggering across the line, maybe a final grim push.
Not usually an all-out sprint.
Almost never. I mean, physiologically, finding that kind of explosive speed after hours of aerobic work, it seems impossible.
Well, that's what makes this so fascinating. So our mission today on this deep dive is to unpack exactly that. How did this marathon in Tokyo on Monday, September 15th, 2025, turn into this thriller, decided by the absolute smallest margin ever?
We need to look at the how, right? What went into that moment?
Exactly. And what it tells us about elite running today and just, the sheer power of the human spirit. Okay, let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So paint the picture for us. Monday morning, September 15th, 2025, Tokyo.
Right. Sun's coming up, already promising a warm, humid day.
Yeah.
Classic Tokyo summer weather. Tough conditions for a marathon.
And the course itself, it's winding through this amazing city, right? Past temples, skyscrapers.
Yeah. A real vibrant urban maze, as some called it. You get the blend of ancient and hypermodern. Athletes are absorbing that energy, but also battling the distance, the heat, the other runners.
And after all that, hours of pounding the pavement, they finally funnel into the Japan National Stadium.
That must be an incredible feeling, seeing the stadium, knowing the finish line is right there on the track.
A welcome sight, I imagine. But also, probably feels miles away still after what they've been through. It's the end point of, well, years of work.
Definitely. And the race itself, leading up to that point,
Huh.
it followed a classic championship pattern, but with maybe more intensity.
How so?
Well, you start with a big pack of the world's best. Everyone's watching each other, conserving energy, dealing with the conditions. But inevitably, the pace, the humidity, it starts to take its toll.
The lead group gets smaller and smaller.
Exactly. It whittles down. And by the time they were approaching the stadium, after more than 2 hours out there, it was down to just 3 guys. A hardcore trio.
Okay, who were they?
You had Tanzania's Alphonce, Felix, Simbu, Germany's Amanal, Petros, and Italy's Ilyas Awani.
Right, 3 athletes who've poured everything into this. Thousands of miles in training.
Warriors, really.
Yeah.
The last one standing, carrying the hopes of their nations, all focused on that finish line inside the stadium.
And then, boom, they burst onto the track. Can you imagine the noise?
Oh, electric. The stadium crowd, they've been watching the splits, seeing the drama unfold on the screens. Now the leaders are right there in front of them. It must have been deafening.
And initially, it's Amani, the Italian, who takes charge.
Yeah, Awani. He'd won the European Marathon title earlier that year, so he was full of confidence. He makes a move, leads onto the track, looking strong, like really strong.
You'd think, okay, maybe this is it. He timed his kick well.
It certainly looked that way for a moment. He was powerful, seemed to be pulling away slightly.
But then Petros responds.
Oh, yeah, Amanal Petros. He's got this quite powerful build for a marathon, or maybe more like a 10K runner in some ways.
Right.
And with about 50 meters left, he just digs deep, unleashes this massive surge, arms pumping, legs driving. He powers past Awani.
Wow, so now he looks like the winner.
Absolutely. From the stands, from the commentary box, even for Petros himself, you'd have thought, okay, that's the gold medal. It looked decisive, clinched.
Game over. Or so we thought, because this is where it just gets unbelievable.
This is the moment, yeah.
Simbu, Alphonce Simbu from Tanzania. He's described as lean, determined.
A veteran, experienced.
Just when Petros seems to have it won, Simbu finds something else. Where does it even come from?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? After 42 kilometers, your body's screaming, depleted. But he finds this kick. It wasn't just a surge, it was a full-blown sprint.
Like a middle-distance runner hitting the final straight.
Exactly. Just drawing on reserves that, honestly, most people can't even comprehend. His form holds, he's flying, closing the gap on Petros second by second.
You can picture it, right? Petros maybe starting to sense him, Simbu just eating up the track.
And then the lean at the tape. Both of them absolutely desperate, throwing themselves across the line.
Incredible drama. What happens immediately after?
Yep.
Chaos, confusion.
Just breathlessness. The whole stadium, I think, just holds its breath. The roar dies down for a second, and everyone looks at the clock.
And the clock shows.
The same time. 2 hours, 9 minutes, and 48 seconds for both Simbu and Petros.
No way. A dead heat, visually.
Yeah. To the naked eye, absolutely impossible to tell. They crossed almost as one. That's where the technology comes in.
The photo finish, thank goodness for that.
Right. That high-tech camera, lined up perfectly with the finish line, captures thousands of images per second. It looks at the torso, not the hand or foot.
So it can separate them even when it looks identical.
Precisely. But it takes time. There's this nail-biting wait while the officials review the image, enlarge it, make the call. The tension was palpable.
And the verdict finally comes.
Simbu. Alphonce Felix Simbu of Tanzania is the world champion.
By how much?
By 0.03 seconds. 0.03.
Wow. 300ths of a second. I can't even fathom how small that margin is after a 2-hour race.
It's the closest finished in World Championship marathon history. Ever. Just think about that.
Unbelievable. And Awani?
He came in third, bronze medal, in 2.09.53. Only 5 seconds behind them. But in that moment, 5 seconds felt like an eternity.
Yeah.
No, the drama was all about those top two.
Absolutely. How did the runners react? Petros must have been devastated.
He was. You saw him sprawled on the track, the finish tape kind of draped over him. Just disbelief. He actually said, I have never seen something like this in a marathon. It's like the 100 meters.
He summed it up perfectly. It was like a sprint finish.
And Simbu.
Pure joy, mixed with utter exhaustion, I imagine. He said something like, it was just try, and I finished. I made history today.
And he really did.
Yeah.
That gold medal. It was the first ever for Tanzania in track and field at either the Olympics or the World Championships.
Wow, that adds another layer. That's not just a personal victory. It's huge for his country.
Monumental. For a nation with such a rich distance-running tradition, finally getting that global gold, what a moment.
And you have to feel for Petros, but also admire his reaction afterwards.
Yeah, he handled it with incredible grace. He talked about being sad, obviously thinking he won, but then he said, I have to accept it. As an athlete, you have to learn for tomorrow. Be thankful for the silver.
Which is true. Silver in a race like that, against that field, it's still a massive achievement.
Absolutely a badge of honor. It just highlights that razor-thin line between glory and, well, almost glory. The physical and mental fortitude involved is just immense.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? What does that finish tell you about where the sport is heading?
Well, that's a great question. Are we seeing a new era?
And the crazy thing is, this wasn't even the only super tight finish in Tokyo that weekend.
Right. It felt like Tokyo 2025 was just specializing in marathon drama.
Because the day before, Sunday the 14th, the women's race had its own share of, well, edge-of-your-seat action.
It really did. Another absolute nail-biter, Kenya's Peres Jepchirchir, who won the Olympic gold in Tokyo previously.
A legend already.
Exactly. She managed to outkick Ethiopia's Tigst Assefa, again, right at the very end.
How close is that one?
Just 0.2 seconds, 0.2 of a second. Jepchirchir finished in 2.24.43, Assefa in 2.24.45.
Still incredibly close, so Assefa gets another silver. That must be tough.
Yeah, repeat silver agony for her. Shows her incredible consistency at the top level, but so close to gold again.
And was there another story in that race, too, for the bronze?
There was, actually. Julia Patterson from Uruguay snatched the bronze medal. Her time was 2.27.23.
Okay.
And that was Uruguay's first ever medal at a senior global track and field championship. Ever.
Wow, so 2 days, 2 marathons, 2 incredibly close finishes for gold, and 2 history-making medals further down. 1 gold for Tanzania, 1 bronze for Uruguay.
Tokyo was just delivering, wasn't it? Finishes tighter than anything we usually see in a marathon.
It really begs the question, is this the new normal? Better pacing, shoe tech, deeper fields?
Could be a combination of all those things. Maybe athletes are learning to conserve just that little bit extra, knowing they need a kick. Or perhaps the shoes do allow for a bit more pop at the end.
Whatever it is, it reminds you why athletics is just so captivating. Anything can happen.
Heart and hustle can rewrite the script, even after 26 miles.
So let's just zoom out for a second. These races were part of the bigger World Athletics Championships, running September 13th to 21st in Tokyo.
Right, a huge event. Over 2,000 athletes, more than 200 countries, all converging on Tokyo.
And that city backdrop, the neon lights, the culture, it just adds to the spectacle, doesn't it?
Definitely. It provides this unique stage for these human dramas to play out.
So beyond the medals, beyond the times, what's the bigger takeaway from these marathon stories for you?
I think it's about the battle within. It's not just racing others, it's racing yourself, racing doubt, racing fatigue, racing that voice telling you to slow down, to quit. Simbu's win, Jepchirchir's kick, even Petros' silver.
Yeah.
They all show that perseverance, plus that killer instinct, that surge at the right moment, it can change everything.
It pushes the boundaries of what we thought was possible in endurance.
Exactly.
Yeah.
These aren't just physical contests. They're mental and emotional epics played out over 2 hours.
So for you listening, what do you take away from this? From seeing athletes push themselves to the absolute brink and then finding just a little bit more.
Yeah. What stands out to you about Simbu digging deep like that? Or Jepchirchir timing her finish perfectly again? Does it change how you think about your own limits?
As we wrap up this deep dive, it's just awe-inspiring, isn't it? Reflecting on these finishes.
Surely.
Tokyo 2025 really showed us that the finish line isn't just pavement or a painted line. It's where determination meets opportunity. It's where legends are made.
Every stride, every heartbeat counts, right up until the very last fraction of a second.
Incredible.
And it leaves you with a thought, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
If the marathon, the ultimate symbol of pure endurance, can give us these kinds of sprint finishes, these cinematic moments,
Yeah.
well, where else might we find those unexpected bursts of success? Maybe in our own lives, when things feel like a long, hard slog. Perhaps that final push, that extra bit of effort we didn't think we had. Maybe that's where the real breakthrough happens.
Something to think about. Pushing just that little bit further than you thought possible. A great place to leave it. Thanks for listening to The Deep Dive.
Keep pushing, keep exploring.